Welcome to another episode of the podcast Profits Unleashed podcast, the show that helps coaches and consultants use podcasting to grow their business and attract aligned clients, whether you're a guest or a host. Now, today's guest is Rachel Spekman. Now, she guests on podcasts a lot. Now, she's the founder of Made for More Coaching. So she helps high-performing professionals ditch the high-paid, soul-sucking careers and step into work that's aligned with their purpose without having to sacrifice the income. So if your career looks good on the outside but feels wrong on the inside, then this episode is for you. So let's dive in. Welcome to the show, Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me, Karen.
Let's start with that. Careers, people who maybe got caught up in a career that they maybe they thought they wanted, but it's not really aligning with them where they are now. It's a scary place to then step out and go it alone. So for you, what inspired you to help people do this?
Yeah, it is a scary place. And I said we have to jump with a safety net, and we have to really be thoughtful about who we're bringing onto our team, or I call it your board, as you're thinking about that jump, a strategic jump. I was in the corporate world. I was helping startups. I was doing operations, project management, all kinds of things out in front of the room. And I had a keynote that I was giving. And afterwards, I basically went to the bathroom and cried and said, I am one person on stage and I'm another person privately, and this is not working for me anymore. I was going through a personal family building journey that felt very incongruous with how I was presenting publicly. And I realized that what I called the asymmetry of how I was showing up at work versus how I was actually feeling was taking a toll on me. That disconnect, it was a very strong disconnect. I sometimes liken it to a seesaw that's out of alignment, or you can think about your hands are heading a certain direction. There's a wedge and it's getting wider and wider. And I noticed it was getting wider for me. And I noticed that I was suffering mental health wise, relationship wise. And I said, this can't be the way. And I watched both of my parents stay in careers that they really suffered through for the sake of the family and for all of the opportunities that we had. And they just said, this is the only way it's going to be. And I thought, this can't be the only way. It's a different world now. That was 40 years ago, right? 30 years ago. And I started working with a coach myself. And the coach helped me discover the one word that I wanted to move into the next chapter of my career, which is I would sit down with a company and I would say, how are you doing? And they would start answering how they're doing. And they would say, I'm stressed and this is hard. And okay, back to my numbers and let's do this. And I said, actually, I care more about how you're doing than how your company is doing. And I sat with that for a long time. And that's why I call it, I had some dark nights of the soul. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do with caring more about a person than how their company's doing? Fast forward, I worked with a coach. I created my board of advisors to help me make a strategic plan. I worked with a financial planner, and I left my senior director role to become a full-time therapist.
Wow. How did that feel?
Oh my gosh. I went from senior director to full-time student and an intern. And I had a child at that point. I had one, I now have two, and I had a mortgage. I said it was the best adult calculated risk I've ever taken. Because when I arrived to the work that I was doing as a therapist, I was like, oh, I still feel this way. I'm still a therapist. People are going to pay me to do this. This is such a natural fit for me. And thank you so much. And because I was falling so in love, I call it the right room. I was in the right room finally.
And so many people aren't.
They really aren't. And all those people I had worked with, not all of them, but a large majority that I had worked with in the startup world, in the nonprofit world I had been at before that, said, you seem like you're doing really well. Can you help me out? I feel asymmetrical, that's my word, at work. I was innovative in this way, and all of a sudden I feel trapped. I feel
Oh,
micromanaged.
I'm so sorry. Hold on one sec. Let's press pause.
Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Sorry about that. Let me.
You're fine.
Thank goodness for not going live. Excellent.
You know what I say? Real life is happening. I just saw your text, by the way. So sorry about that.
Oh, dear. I knew. I thought he's asleep. I won't move him. And then he's woken up.
Oh.
So let's go back to, how far back do you want to go? You were saying about other people started saying,
Yes.
help me about, because I'm feeling asymmetrical. Go from there.
Yes. And I'd always naturally been a writer, and I've always been very good with words, I think. And so people say, can you help me with my resume? Can you help with my cover letter? I'm in between jobs. And I said, do you even want to be going for that job? No, not really. So that's when I realized that there's really an opportunity between the world of therapy and actually career coaching. I call it career strategy work, which is how do you tap into what you're naturally good at doing, or how do you reverse engineer your career based on what lights you up? And then how do we find opportunities or create them in this wide market? You're in the UK, I'm here across the entire universe, really, to help pay for those opportunities.
Right. Things have changed in the last 30 odd years, but we have been conditioned to believe that these are the steps. You go to, in England, you go to college or you go to university, you get that degree, and then you go and get this really good job, then you get a mortgage, and then a lot of people, they're not stuck, but they feel like they're stuck because they don't feel like they can step out of this corporate role, if they're in corporate, and go for something that would light them up, because entrepreneurship wasn't taught in school, was it?
No. And the other thing is how you just described it. It's quite similar in the US, which is many people find me, oh, I just finished law school. I hate being a lawyer. Oh, I just finished engineering, whatever the case is. Most people find me when I say they're 20 to 40% happy at work. And I will ask them, that's truly the average, 30%. That's one of my intake questions. And I will say, would you live in a house that's 70% falling apart?
Great analogy.
Would
Why
you
do
drive
we
a
put up with
car?
this?
Would you drive a car that was 70% falling? No, because exactly what you said, we feel stuck. We have bills, we have the mortgage, we have our reputation to keep up. So, one of the first myths that I try to bust with people is I say the goal is 80%. It depends on who you ask career wise, but the goal is 80% enjoyment. That means you're going to have a 70% day and a 90% day, but that's all quite better than 30%. And to figure out the 30% to 80%, we're going to get to 31% and then 35% and then 40%. We're not going to go to 80%. And actually, when we go to LinkedIn, when we go to these places, it can actually kick us while we're down sometimes. Yeah. Because we're comparing ourselves to this sort of false narrative as opposed to what's my 80%.
I hear you. I hear you. And that's, I suppose that's another subject altogether. Unfortunately, so many people do go through and they are comparing themselves to this person who looks like they've got it all together and may not, or may not.
It's human nature. We're social creatures. We're all doing it. And I love the quote, the only job you have is to be better than who you were yesterday, which is so nice. I have a first grader. I have a 3-year-old. They're both like, what is my friend doing? What's this? It's just human nature. So we have to continually both, it's very therapeutic to say both accept that's the reality. And to also say, I always fashion myself, like I'm a swimmer. And I say, if you're looking at the other lane while you're swimming, you're literally losing your own time because you're focused on the wrong thing.
Stay in your lane.
But be innovative at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, and I will tell you, this is how the name of the coaching company came to me, because I thought, you want me to coach you? I'm just getting unstuck in my own career. But that's when it started taking off and people started kind of family, friends, and now it's grown quite a bit. And I feel very fortunate for it. And because again, I'm still doing what I love. I feel so grateful for it. And it was just called my name. That's the other thing. People are like, what's the name going to be? What's the website going to be? It's going to happen organically. We need to get excited first. We wait until it's going to be perfect, opposed to my first website was miserable. The name of my company was, anyway, just all these things at the beginning, how I was doing it versus now. And I don't know where I'm going to be 2-3 years from now, but I'm excited to be growing it.
I love that outlook. It's the same for me. If I waited for things to be perfect, I'd never actually do anything. You've got to just take that step. My whole thing is completely evolved. If you told me 10 years ago that I'd be doing what I'm doing, I'd have laughed for starters. And it should evolve. You're never going to get it perfect from the get-go. And sometimes you've got things to learn, and sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for, right? Sometimes things can happen. You think, actually, I'm not sure that I like this. I want to now go in this direction. And that's all okay. We give ourselves such a hard time that we're told to create these plans and we've got to stick to the plan. Actually, it's flexible, right? Because like you say, you've got to go with how you feel. And are you enjoying it? It doesn't have to be so rigid, does it?
It really doesn't. And I love the kind of rephrasing things instead of what do you want to be when you grow up? Who do you want to be? Or I always say I grew up in a what are you doing household? What are you doing today? What activities are you doing? And I'm trying in earnest to create a how are you doing household.
Love that. Because that is the important thing. But what's happened? We've gone
It's very radical. It's capitalism. What we're doing matters because, like I said, what we do does pay the bills and does move things forward. And it really does matter. It's also how do we hold up how we're doing while we're doing those things. And very often in that, if you are enjoying 30% of your day to day, that starts to have an effect on your health, your mental health, your relationships. I spoke with someone this morning. He says he has very little to look forward to generally. It's really hard. And that's the other thing. It's like we all feel like we're isolated. It's actually a very universal problem. Most of us want purpose. There are 3 C's in work that we're looking for that's called meaningful work. It's a book that I reference all the time. We want challenge, some kind of challenge. We don't want to be bored, really.
No.
We say we do want to, but then we get bored and then we want community. We want to feel connected, not socially isolated. Even if we're working in our house, I feel connected to you. I'm going to a social event later. We feel connected. And we want to have contribution. We want to feel like our work has some kind of meaning. So those are the 3 C's that really, at the end of the day, lead to a sense of fulfillment. And so for those who are listening, thinking about which of those 3 C's are off, which one is on, and how do you fine tune it a little bit? Oh, my community is not really inspiring me. Let's go find a new one. Let's go try that out. I don't really feel like I'm making an impact. Okay, let's see where you can volunteer once a week after work. So that's where it gets into I say it's career coaching, but it's really purpose coaching as well. And how does your career infuse that sense of enrichment?
And so your process doing things step by step. So just like you say, rather than jumping from 30% to 80%, that might be too big a jump for most people to really believe. So you're doing it incrementally as you go. Is that your process or how do you work?
I have a 3-step process and I generally work with people for about 6 months because I say it takes about 6 months to get unstuck.
Yeah. We want it now. The reality is it all takes time and it takes a commitment.
And it depends on how long we've been stuck for, because I'll sometimes liken it to a poster stuck against the wall. If it's been there for a long time, the glue's hardened and we have to really use some elbow grease to get it unstuck. So it's mindset, transformation. So how am I actually going to use the skills that come naturally to me? I do a skills, values, and intellectual curiosity overlap, which I can talk more about. But really the overlap of the 3, using skills that I want to be using, working in a place that values the same things that I value or similar, and problems that I want to solve. And then we do accountability, because the hardest step is actually when you know what you want to do and you have all the confidence to actually go out and
do it. Knowing and doing, mind that gap.
Exactly, because
That's the gap.
it's the unknown. And I will sometimes say that it's like the trapeze where you're holding on to one and you see the other one, but you're going to have a
You've got
moment
to
where you're
let
going to be
go.
free falling for a minute.
Yep.
So it's a lot of self-trust, but I'm very big on not being impulsive. I'm very big on not quitting. Don't quit without a plan. We all have bills to pay. We all have responsibilities. The best time to look for a job is when you have one, that kind of thing.
And but that again can turn into a little bit of an obstacle, because sometimes when things are going well financially, we can get, I suppose is it human nature? I don't know, but we can get a little bit complacent.
Oh.
And for some people, sometimes it is when they have been pushed or they're backed into a corner, that's when they make why are we like that? Because like you said, the best time to do it is when things are stable and you have got the money coming in. But what stops them from using that moment in time to start making steps for their better future or their happier future? Why do a lot of people wait until things have got really bad?
I can answer this from a mental health perspective because I do individual counseling and a couples counseling. And the quickest answer I have to that on the career side is we are motivated when we are uncomfortable. So many of us wait until we're more and more uncomfortable, but we don't have to suffer. We've acclimated almost like a oxygen level. Oh, this is uncomfortable. This is uncomfortable. And that's why
I've got to do something.
for me, that's why I share my personal story. I have a video on my website, which is basically, I didn't think I love my job. And then all of a sudden I think I love it a little bit less and a little bit less. And I ignored it, of course, because why would I make a change? I'm having all these public opportunities. I'm flying all over. Everything's great, quote unquote. But then it hit a point where no, actually, I'm basically having a panic attack. I'm having a lot of anxiety. This is not great. This might look great, but it doesn't feel great.
There's a difference. Isn't it interesting? Actually, you could have made that step or started way back when you were. It's so interesting.
But the discomfort is what forces us to grow. So often you'll look back and say, thank God I got let go from that job. I hated that job. But you would have never walked out on your own because why would you?
It's
I
crazy.
think it's the human condition that if it's not broken, we don't want to fix it. So we wait until it's capital B broken to fix it.
It is. When you step back and take a look, it's actually really quite like, why did I do that?
It's so funny. I don't know. I feel this analogy I have to share with you, which is our handyman said, the largest purchases of your home are things you can't see. The hot water heater, the air conditioning, the largest investments in ourselves and it's preventative. It's actually getting ahead of these things so that it doesn't become an issue or a flood or a whatever clogged toilet like we just had. I make these analogies because I do fundamentally believe this is okay. So this is like one of my theories is that we spend most of our time doing one of four things, which is managing our health, managing our most intimate partner relationships, family, etc., managing where we live because that's our day-to-day environment, or managing what we do professionally or with our time. Everything else, it's like we're talking, we have friends with dinner with friends, we go on a vacation, but those four things really constitute 99% of our time, just mathematically. And if one of those is off, like if you think about a stool, you're going to feel it in the other areas.
Yeah. But the other question then would be, so then why do other people wait too long? So you got to where you were aware that you were uncomfortable, that you weren't really happy. And then, it was in that moment where you said you broke down and cried. That's quite a major, it's a bit of an aha moment, isn't it? It's like, hang on, something's not quite right here. So again, why people can do whatever they want, but they do put their own personal happiness on the back burner to go and do this job because they have to do this job, or they feel they have to do this job to pay the bills, right? So what is it that's keeping them stuck before they do actually reach out and even admit they need help and make the change?
This is part of the mindset work I do, which is a lot of how are we taught about work? How did we experience work fundamentally when we were children? Did our parents come home stressed about work? Were they excited about what they were doing? Same thing up with our mental health. Is it, we don't talk about feelings in this family, or is it actually all feelings? All of these things actually contribute to our outlook as adults and the psychological impact of, okay, hold on, wait a second. I'm feeling a certain way. I'm ignoring my feelings. There's data in that because something about acting on my feelings feels too risky, too vulnerable, like asking for help is shameful or something. So we need to unpack, how did you get to this place without a place of shame, but just a place of exploration? Because one of the ways that I try to work with people is, I say my job is to put myself out of a job so that you don't get stuck again like this in the future.
Yes.
You see the signs in advance if it's heading in that way.
Yes, you don't wait too long.
You don't wait. And that's why I try to do ongoing coaching with people potentially, or executive coaching, whatever you call it. I have a client right now who really wanted a leadership position. And like you said, be careful what you ask for. So now she's in it. And now she has a whole set of problems. We all have problems to solve.
And this is the thing. We think that we want to get to that destination. When you get to that destination, there is going to be a whole load of different things. So it's all a journey, isn't it? And
it is a journey.
And I suppose that is what I'm getting from this conversation is you're supposed to blooming enjoy the journey. So if you're not enjoying the journey, maybe it's time to have a little look around and go from 30% to, come on, 80% is good. I suppose that for me.
What percent are you?
Oh, I'm up there. I'm just literally, what's it, the 27th of October? So 2 weeks. By the time this airs, right? So we're recording this, it's 27th of October. This episode will air around the 2nd of December. I will have already been a month in Mexico.
Ah, amazing. Amazing.
I took this route because I wanted, for me, the laptop lifestyle was the dream. Forget, obviously the money helps, right? But I wanted the location freedom because we all have different ideas of what we want, what our goals are. And so for
there
me,
we go.
Yeah. And everyone's different.
You've personalized your values, and you've said to me, because the thing, we all want freedom, I want choice. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And so finally, it's taken me a long time. Trust me, it didn't happen overnight, right?
No.
But yeah, I'm off. And obviously, it depends on your home life as well. I'm an empty nester, so my girls have flown the nest. So I am able as well to do that. And so, yes, I'm doing it. And yeah, I just get to have conversations with people. It's perfect.
Exactly. You're like, this is incredible. And that's why I like to tell people we have to be intentional and we have to let things happen organically as well.
Yeah.
It's a combination of the two. And I like to share sometimes on podcasts that I felt like I really needed a name for my company. What's the name of it? Okay, I said Rachel Spekman Coaching. Okay, that's fine. I was coaching a client and she was in a very toxic work environment. And I said, you are made for more than this environment. And she just paused and she said, that's the name of your company.
Made for more coaching.
And got it. And I said, oh my gosh, I think you're right. This is what it's about, feeling like you're made for more.
Perfect. So if somebody's out there thinking 30%, I'd say I'm at 25, I need help. What should the listeners do next?
First, I always like to give an exercise because, yes, you can reach out to me and I'll share that information in a moment. But what's something you can do if you're just in your car right now or on a walk or whatever? And I ask everyone to think about, identify the last, let's call it 48 hours of your workday. Write down in an Excel or just on a piece of paper, what have been the core things that you've done with your time? And then next to that, let's say it was podcasting and Excel spreadsheeting and running the numbers or something. Write down what percent enjoyment you have of that task. And then write down what percent of your time you're doing that. So then you can start to, and I literally have clients color code it green, yellow, red. That's your prescription right there. Let me start dialing down some of the things that I hate doing, that I have to do. And how are you going to dial those down? We'll figure it out. But maybe you're going to outsource it. You're going to
outsource.
Or let's figure out how to dial up the things that are the most green for you. I love doing this thing. Great. How can we do more of it? So that's just a very practical way to start thinking for everybody listening. If you're at 20%, how do you get to 21%? You identify what's going to drive you to 21%.
Small steps, small incremental steps will still get you to your destination, which will change.
And support. Small incremental steps with support. I provide a lot of structure and accountability.
Brilliant. You heard it, guys. I just think it is so sad. I do feel blessed that I have always done things that I love doing. I've spent my adult life, and because I wasn't corporate.
Bless you.
So not me. I come from the fitness industry originally. So I just spent my life jumping around a studio to loud music. Like, I had fun.
That's definitely on my green list. I put that in every day. I start my every day with a workout. That's one of my...
There you go. I would just literally spend my day working out pretty much. Yeah. And although the problem with that was it didn't bring in the money initially. And because I wanted to do what I loved. But then it evolved. We moved to the Algarve. We had our own fitness studio. Then we made it make money. And so there is when you do what you love, there is a way. I do believe that there really is a way. Like traditionally speaking, an aerobic instructor, a fitness instructor doesn't really make a lot of money, especially, here in the UK. No, they don't. So there are other things. Yes, okay, we had to open our own studio to benefit, if you like, from the financial. And that is what I think holds people back a lot of the time, because maybe they would have loved to have done that, but didn't, because on paper, it's not really bringing enough money. But there's always a way. There always a way, but it's being aware, isn't it? First step is being aware. So you're the one to help people just open their eyes up to what is possible.
Yes, and I do partner with a financial planner to do this work, because you need, like you said earlier, we need to know how much we need to live, how much. A lot of us get used to, I'm making this much, so of course I have to spend this much. I just was with somebody last week who basically said, I'm making triple what I need to make, and I'm very unhappy. And at the end of the day, you go to sleep with yourself. And so if you know what you need, or you could partner with somebody to help you figure out what you need to make to have your lifestyle the same.
Yeah.
And to be enjoying it more.
And to be happy. It's worth it.
Yes.
So once again, what's your website? Where do people find you?
madeformorecoach.com.
Fantastic. And if you are driving, don't worry. Rachel's details will be in the show notes, so make sure you come back to them. If you are stuck in a job that you really don't enjoy and you would really like to be spending your day, because we're working the majority of the time, right? I haven't been able to find that 4-hour week that seems to be it's not doable, but
you could still be happy. And you could still be in Mexico. You could still be picking up your kids from school. You could be doing whatever it is that brings you joy.
Absolutely. Because everyone's different. They've all got different goals. They've all got different things that light them up, and just do what's right for you. Love that.
I have a monthly call that's open to anyone. It is called the Career Libido Warrior Call. And it's for anyone to join, to jump in and learn about how to get more excited about your career. And those are on the third Thursday of each month. And I'd love to see you there. The Career Libido Warrior Call.
And where can they find it?
On my website, madeformorecoach.com.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much for your time today. And to the listeners, I'll be back next week. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to today's episode on the Podcast Profits Unleashed podcast. If you're